You are listening to HUMHR Career Insights, the show where purpose meets possibility. I'm your host, Batje Chibafa, and every episode we go behind the scenes with entrepreneurs, innovators, and leaders who are redefining what's possible in their careers and communities. If you are ready to grow, pivot, or build something of your own, you're in the right place. Let's get into today's conversation. Today, I'm joined by Wani Joana Kahasha, an industrial engineer, social impact entrepreneur, and development practitioner driving digital transformation and women's economic empowerment in the DRC. Wani currently leads the DClick Digital Skills program at Kivu Impact Center, expanding AI literacy, coding, and geospatial skills to young people and women across several provinces. She has supported over 6,700 women entrepreneurs through the World Bank's Transform project and previously built Kivu Spices, an agritech venture digitizing local value chains, a powerful journey that has successes and disappointments, which we will explore today. Her work spans engineering, agritech, technology, and community innovation, and she is known for championing feminist leadership and evidence-based solutions. Wani, welcome to HUMHR Career Insights. I have really been looking forward to this conversation. So, is there anything I missed out in my introduction? Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Well, thank you for having me. I feel like you forgot quite a big part of my life, which is I come from a family of seven and I'm the third. We are five girls and two boys, so that's kind of a big part of my life and my identity. So I don't know. The resume was good, but it missed that one. So I don't know.
Yes. That is a big part. Family is a big part of one's life, and I'm sure it's a big part of you and a big part of the story you are about to tell us. So thank you for adding that on. So, can we dive right in and can you tell me about a piece du Kivu? Did I say that right?
Yes, it's a piece de Kivu, or the other way around is Kivu Spice. So you did that right.
Okay. Can you tell us about it? I know it's an extraordinary story because it has inspiring parts and also heartbreaking parts. And yeah, I would like us to start talking about the inspiring bits. Can you tell us what inspired you to start Kivu Spice? And yeah, from the very beginning.
Well, Kivu Spice was born from, uh, I would say, a need, but mostly it started as a dream, a dream that turned into a plan, and a plan that turned into a product. A dream, in the sense that when the whole idea started, I didn't have anything as cash capital, but I only had reputational capital, in a sense of I was coming out of my undergrad graduation. I had a diploma. I mean, I had my bachelor, and I had a couple of accomplishment to my name, in the sense of project that I've been involved in. So people knew that I can get myself involved in something from the start and finish it. But when we started Epis de Kivu, we literally didn't have land, we didn't have cash, and we didn't have. We didn't know where to start because I was relocating. I was relocating to DRC after finishing up my study in South Africa at Val University of Technology. And I actually I had the opportunity from the Val University of Technology to move to the UK, where I was actually pursuing my master's, and due to a personal uh, loss at that particular year in 2020, my mom passed. So a lot was going on back home, and we decided, because we are such a big family and not all of us were able to freely move at that time, we decided that I was going to be the one going back home and try to have some stuff that my mom owned uh, taken care of. So from that point, after the family meeting, we decided, okay, you are the one who will be going back there. So when I arrived, I decided that well, I'm already here. I'm already doing work related to family, but I wanted to bring forward everything that I've learned through my industrial engineering degree. But when I look at my background in terms of my career orientation at that time, I had a bit of experience in brewery. I had a bit of experience in mining, in project management. So I was also very interested in having the Made in DRC being brought forward. And because of that, I decided it's this is something I want to talk about first to people around me and see how they react to it, especially when it comes to the spice industry. But because I felt at that time that we're being flooded with product from outside, which is good because diversity is good. But I also wanted, you know, a Congolese presence towards, when you walk in a supermarket and you look at shelves and you're like, there is a bit of representation. So that's literally how the whole dream started of having a made in DRC put on the shelf in a local context, especially coming from the east side. We have borders with Rwanda, Uganda, Kenya, and Burundi, but you don't see a lot of representation when it comes to locally produced whether it's spices, whether it's maize, whatever is destined for human consumption, at least more than 80% of our food that we consume that side come from outside. So I felt like we needed to be represented, and I felt like I had the background that can help bring that whole plan to life. So from the get going, I started talking about it around me. Because I did not have land, I decided to approach family members who own acres and acres all over the province. And well, people kind of felt like, okay, I want to be part of this. And because I have a little bit of reputation of getting things done, I also leverage that of, okay, I'm personally going to be involved in this. I am going to be busy with it, and I'll try to run it as much as possible. But obviously it's such a big project, I can't do it myself. And most importantly, the resource that the project needs, I won't be able to kind of uh, pull them together in the context that we were in at that time, because we're coming out of COVID. Things were not really as easy to manage as they used to be before COVID, and people were a bit skeptic to kind of engage in investment that are not that does not have from the get to go a clear return on investment. So that's how Epis de Kivu started, and after the family I would say a campaign that I did. I went to friends. I went to a couple of local organizations that looks at incubation and accelerating and assisting startup. And that's how I set up Epis de Kivu with 4 other person. Two of them were Congolese but living abroad, and the other two were Congolese. One of them living in Kinshasa, and the other one living in Mali at that time. So that's how Epis de Kivu started.
Wow, that's such a commendable story. It's very inspiring. You started with almost no capital and you had no land. And how you campaigned to get that land was very interesting to me. And then you turned it into a thriving spice business. So you are growing, processing, and packaging everything yourself. That's what it was, right?
Yes. The way we looked at it was that we were going to start from the farm to the table. So it was such a big project that we knew not only we need the whole village to make it happen, but we also we wanted to be at the whole value chain, from the production in the farm, do the logistic parts, and then the processing part, and finally the distribution. And in doing so, we felt like at least we'll really be talking about 100% Congolese product, not just having us positioned maybe at the distribution or the transformation, but will be not only leveraging and impacting life from the villages all the way up to the consumer, the final consumer. So we were working with more close to 200 farmers. The majority of them, around 164, were women, having on average 4 to 5 children. And we were working on a timetable, looking at rotation, where we were actually partnering with 60 women every week, and to do mainly the work related to the nursery, moving the plant from the nursery to the final destination on the field. And what we actually uh, managed to do is provide a means of provide income for those women. We've been doing it for, like, because the project started in 2020, but around early 2021, that's when we had like it, the team being more stable, the timetable being more reliable, sorry. And we also had at the beginning issues with the husband of the women that were working not being cooperative when it comes to the time that we had in terms of the scheduling that we had planned. So we had a lot of talking in terms of convincing the husbands, going to their pastors, going to their religious leaders to explain to them that these women, they are really doing farm work, they're not doing anything else outside that. But what also we managed to do was to provide a means of income to the majority of them, because the village where we were established, where we had our farm, the majority of them left to go and do mine work, especially when you go a bit inside the country, outside Bukavu, you toward bordering villages. There is a lot of gold outside, so the majority of them started living farm work to go for gold and artisanal mining, because they felt like that was more rewarding. And they will leave the women up to facing most of the charges when it's come to household, when it's come to education of the kids, and when it's come to just making the whole family survive, because it was just not only the woman with a kid, but also the in-laws that she's living with and everything. So that was the biggest impact that we had in terms of production. And then afterward, we had to work. We had the opportunity to work with drivers, bus drivers, that were mainly helping us with transporting the harvest from the farm to the processing plants. And in the processing plant, we also had a couple of youth that were helping. We had 6 employees at the processing plant, but 4 of them were women, and 2 of them were young men. And what was happening was that from the farm, we had the farm manager that was supervising the operation at the farm, because Chile, the majority of mainly what it is in the name, it's Épices de Kivu. So we were mainly involved in spices. Chile was our, I would say, produit phare. Was our biggest product that was being sought after a lot. So we had the chili, we had the garlic, we had the ginger, but we particularly pay attention to the chili, because that was what was that's where the demand were the most. Yeah. So when you look at how it started as a dream, and then we started bringing people in. We started partnering with farmers. We started partnering with drivers. We started partnering with youth, that some of them wanted to learn. Some of them were already involved in some local processing of either juice or other type of products that were farmed locally, such as jam and everything. So Epis di Kivu is a long story.
Yeah, and it sounds like it has had a huge impact on the community. There is something that I actually did forget to say in my long bio of you, Wani, and that is you speak English, you speak French, you speak Swahili, and is there another language that you speak?
Well, I speak a bit of Mashi, which is our mother tongue. It's quite difficult. It have words that are similar when if you were to speak Kinyarwanda, or if you were to speak Kirundi, you will find a similarity when it comes to the language. So but I don't speak it well. That's the thing.
That's a lot of languages. Have you found that an advantage to the work that you do, or yeah, basically have you found that an advantage?
Well, it depends on where you at. For example, when it's come to Epis di Kivu, particularly, not being able to speak my mother tongue when I'm at the farm was a huge disadvantage. Especially when we had problems with husbands of the women that were helping us in the farm, they only speak Mashi, and they will not accept to talk to me because I'm speaking Swahili or French, and they will be like, if she's speaking Swahili or French, she's taking us she's not respecting us. So they will be like, we're not talking to you. And when they pissed off, they will take their wives away, and the whole day will not be able to work because we're on a tight schedule, because they were daily, we had to pay them daily, which means the work have to start at 7:30 and it have to end at 2. So when we talking and not working, I'm losing on the accounting side. So I wanted things to be done quickly, and they will be like, "You wait." And that's where my farm manager helped a lot. He was fluent in Mashi, and you'll talk to them, and you'll calm them, and then they'll just leave and they will let us work. So, uh, having not being able to talk Mashi didn't help a lot, but being able to talk in English have helped a lot when it comes to international competition, because when you trying to take the product and showcase it outside, most of the competition, most of the opportunities, we had to do pitch in English. And if you are not able to do that, even when you're applying, they'll tell you, are you able to speak English? Can you pitch in English? Even if you have a good product, you have an amazing pitch set up for yourself, but if the judge can't be able to like evaluate you when you're talking at the same level as other candidates, you automatically disqualified. On the French aspect of it, it did help me look very professional when I'm approaching a supermarket. You don't want to look like, hey, I can only speak Swahili, because I'm coming from a French speaking country, so they don't look at giving you importance the same way. In English, people have a lot of tolerance when it's come to how you speak and how you communicate. But in French, you have to say the right things at the right moment and everything. So when we go to supermarket and trying to present your product and try to talk about your product, you want to have your French neat and solid and crisp, so that they feel like, this is a product that is not only being manufactured locally, but this is someone who went to school and came back and started something. So you want to sell yourself in such a way that you look a bit of a gem in whatever situation you find yourself in. So that's the thing. It's it's a lot to handle, but we're trying. We manage it.
Mm. That's got to do with branding and perception, isn't it? And
Totally.
just juggling that bit of like, okay, in the francophone world, this is how the branding of the product should be, and this is how I should brand myself in the anglophone world. This is how it should be. This is how I should present myself. It's an interesting balance to play, particularly in Africa. Do you find that it has been, or would you say it's a hindrance to intra-African trade or intra-African entrepreneurial collaboration?
Um, Yes and no. Well, yes, in a sense of, I feel like when it comes to the African, the English speaking countries compared to the French speaking country, I feel like there is an imbalance in terms of being exposed to opportunity, but also being able to grab those opportunity. But and also in terms of that is available in French compared to information that are available in English. Um, when you look at why I got involved with Kivu Spice, I'm not sorry, why I got involved with Kivu Impact is it was mainly to help the ecosystem, because when you look at how things are presented currently, you can easily find a lot of material available online for free, but it's English based. In a French speaking country, you know that this, for example, this training or this type of podcast will help this person even better than I can. But then, because there is that language barrier, they are not able to access the opportunity, and therefore they are not able to capitalize on that opportunity. And therefore, because they don't know what they don't know, things just, the divide keeps on growing, and we and because the infrastructure is not helping, it just makes everything worse. Because uh, before even the language barrier, it's just the fact that people cannot move around, like, because at some points, I remember the first time I got to South Africa, I was not able to properly speak English, but I could go to a supermarket and show bread, and they will know, she's trying to get this, and show a bottle of Coke, and, oh, okay, she's trying to get this. But you know, because I've been able to travel, even if it was not communicating with language, it was just using gesture, but still it was communication. But when I'm not even able to move from one place to another, I wouldn't know that I don't know what I don't know. You see what I mean? And therefore, it's the in terms of language, that just for me a secondary problem compared to infrastructure. If people can just be able to move around freely in Africa, I think that will impact a lot of things.
Oh, wow. Okay. No, thank you for that. There's two things, Wani, that I want us to zone in on. And one, you mentioned it as a challenge when you were starting Kivu Spices. And yeah, it was one of your big challenges, and that was women and women resilience and entrepreneurship, right? How their husbands basically had control over, will they come to the farm? Now, you have taken that on, right? You have supported more than 6,700 women entrepreneurs. And I think there was the World Bank Transform project that you had. So, what would you say? What separates women who scale from those who struggle to survive?
The ecosystem, the literally the ecosystem. Just when you look at the beginning, when I was starting with Kivu Spice, we it was becoming such a huge problems that women will come, and then the husband will come, and they will be like, no, go back. Or you will go he will be drinking, and around 11 you'll come back and start, shouting at her at the on the field, and that will make her feel uncomfortable, and the baby that she's carrying will start crying. She needs to stop work, and all of us, and because maybe her friends want to help her, the friend will also stop work and everything. And at some point, I sat down, and I went to talk to some of my uncle that have worked in humanitarian work, and they told me, it may be strange, but you need to go and look for a religious leader. You need to go and look for religious leaders and talk to them, because those one, they will be able to get into get the message across in the head of the husband. And I was like, what should I tell them? I said, just manage to help to make the leader understand that this work that these women are doing not only benefit them first, it benefits them first, and then after it benefit the women and the children, but they need to feel like she's doing this for me. I know it sounds uh, it may look bad and it sounds even terrible, but we did that. We went to the church on Sunday very early, and we kind of request an audience with the before the service start. We request an audience with the pastor, and we told them, look, we need the women to be freely, to be able to come freely at work without being harassed, without being taken away in the middle of the day, and they need to be left alone and to manage their time, not always being, chased away or called upon by the husband in the middle of, or being shouted. Nobody wants to be shouted at work, especially by your husband, maybe in front of all your friends, because the other lady were their friends. So we can see how embarrassing and how, uh, you know, uh, the discomfort that they were in, but because it's the husband and they know if they dare to kind of open their mouth, it will just go downhill from there, and maybe the evening and tomorrow they won't be able to come, so they'll just take it in and take it in. So we talk to the religious leader, and we know that the power of the husband, and we understand it, and we acknowledge and we respect it. But can you help us in your own way, as a religious leader, make the husband understand that this profits him first, then the family, and at large the whole community, because we planning on being here for a very long time. So unless we have the men labor that we need, we'll also have to leave. And this village does not look like things are getting better, or people are even affording, because most of them, their children have left school because they just couldn't afford. They didn't have job, they didn't have opportunity. It was looking bad when we arrived. So we just went into the service just to make sure that, hey, he's going to help us manage this husband of our women. So, and I'm telling you, I wish we recorded it, but the guy actually preached for like 3 hours. He was just pounding on the message and pounding, and I didn't go to the other services during the day, but my farm manager told me that he didn't do it only for that Sunday. He did it like for a whole month. He felt like, yes, these people are here to stay, and it did help. We had for a 6 month straight, we had very calm schedule. We had women arriving on time, leaving at 2. They were very motivated. There was really this ambience of happiness in the field, and it felt good to be able to just look at them and how happy they were, even if it was just seasonal work. But you can see that they felt like, life is coming back to our village. So it felt good.
Now that brings me to the ecosystem, the African ecosystem, uh, as relating to entrepreneurs and this envelope that you mentioned. I find that it is common across Africa. Now, is that a challenge? Is that a barrier to entrepreneurship in Africa, you would say, in the ecosystem? Or is it getting better? Yeah, basically, like, should we be having that sort of situation?
Well, we shouldn't. Well, that definitely we when I came back to DRC, and when I decided, like, beside the after doing what I could for my family, and deciding that, well, instead of going to work from a brewery or going back to mining, I was going to start something that was going to be representative of our country, that was going to be proudly Congolese and everything. I I had this assumption about what I will get, instead of, in terms of what I'm starting with, like, laws were going to be respected to some extent. I know it's still Africa, but I assume that when you are a registered company, people, and you are a startup, and you are classified as a startup, people are going to give you access to what the law says that you should have access to. Like, basic infrastructure, access to energy, transports, and things that I know are super important for any type of business I was looking at to survive. And the shock was it was a lot to take in to realize that every step of the way, even for things that are supposed to be uh, that's supposed to be a given, they are not, and you have to kind of fight your way through every single thing, even getting your voice across on what you deserve, what you wouldn't pay for. And it's a constant fight to um to to be able to, like, it's a constant fight to always have to push the boundaries, kind of negotiate what you are owed to, or even fight, or even campaign for it. You end up being perceived as a rebel, as somebody who's pushing the status quo, as somebody who's, and then sometimes you looked at as, she'll bring trouble, because you just don't accept certain things. Like, for us, we looked at as, uh, we are trying to change the narrative here. But when you look at now, other requests that we've had when we're establishing the business, when you look at registration, when you have requests to just give money, you don't know what you're giving money for, and there is nowhere where it says that you should be giving money to have this paper out. Meanwhile, the law said you should go here and get it for free. And you don't there is no reason why you should be doing that. So you end up being perceived as a bit confrontational, because you are trying to push back on all those requests. And I feel like for people that are relocating to Africa and hearing all these things, or all these stories, or this narrative from outside, you tend to believe that things have evolved to a certain extent, that at least basic infrastructure or basic need have been covered. So now it's just a matter of building the structure, but even the foundation of it all does not exist yet. And you quickly realize that, and that's where the you kind of make a choice. Do I stay and keep on fighting, or do I pack my stuff and go back to where I come from, or go back to the country I was established in, even if it's not your birth country, and just keep on. At least you can find a starting point, instead of just um, trying to even build the starting point itself. So I feel like that have been impacting a lot in the ecosystem. And like I mentioned before, for me, there is no speech or convincing that will come from our leadership, as long as they've not looked at infrastructure. Anything that um, come close to uplifting the life, changing the life, impacting the life, especially in Africa, must first start from the point of infrastructure. Especially for me, and when I talk about infrastructure, maybe it may appear to be broad, but specifically road. Let people being able to move from one country to another, from one place to another, without paying a lot of money, and sometimes not even being able to make it, because during rainy season, sometime I won't be able to go to my farm, because if I didn't find a truck, I cannot go with any kind of car. Otherwise, we'll just get stuck, and I'll have problem with, because the car is not mine, and will not move forward. Or I'll have to go back after paying the car, and I did not reach destination, and then I have to go back and I have to pay the person, and maybe repay some other stuff on things that did not even break. So it's very frustrating. Yeah. So for me, it's the ecosystem. When you look at the ecosystem, we must improve the roads when it comes to infrastructure. That will help a lot.
Wani, thank you. There's a lot there. And on that note, let's take a water break. And we'll be right back to continue talking about Africa, but let's take a water break. This episode is brought to you by HUMHR, the boutique career and leadership consultancy helping professionals get clear, get confident, and get hired. From CV writing and Clifton Strengths coaching to interview prep and leadership development, HUMHR is here to help you take the next step in your career. Visit humhr.org, HUMHR.org to learn more. Welcome back, everyone. If you're only joining us now, I am speaking to Wani Joana Kahasha, and we are talking about entrepreneurship in Africa and a social entrepreneurship journey. Wani, we were talking about Africa as the rising continent. So there's a growing narrative that is the rising continent, especially in tech, entrepreneurship, and youth innovation. You already alluded to some of this earlier on, but I just want you to tell us from where you sit. Does that narrative resonate with the reality that you are seeing on the ground as an entrepreneur?
Yes, but not to the extent that the hype is leading it to look like. In a sense of yes, we have the human capital. Yes, we have in terms of minerals, in terms of geo localization. We are living unprecedented time. Like this is an extraordinary time for Africa in terms of geography, in terms of opportunities, in terms of, like I said, human capital and everything. But it's the infrastructure is not there, and because it's not there, uh, and we have to build it, there is no way around it. The opportunity that presents itself then, it's on the human capital. For me, we must look at really, really empowering our youth, not just say the youth is the future. Africa will have the youngest population, but what is the level of education of that population, and how is that population going to actually being able to position themselves on the world stage to compete with other economy when you look at us as a continent or even as individual countries? How are we then making sure that we are able to compete in a global stage, uh, uh, considering our current position? Because the hype is there, we have positive things happening, we also have advantages here and there, but then again, the what to look at as an advantage, if it's not properly uh, I would say managed, if it's not properly educated, if it's not properly empowered, will not be able to kind of harvest what we hoping to be seeing, like an accelerated adoption, for example, of a technology. Will not be able to see the impact of that adoption on our businesses. We won't be able to see at some point, like we're looking at Kenya currently, Silicon Savannah. It won't be able to take off in a proper way and really impact the world if we did not take care of educating and empowering the youth and the women in the same time.
Powerful. One thing that I'm taking from there, I want you to tell me just one thing that if you could ask African governments, donors, and the private sector if they could fix one thing to unlock African entrepreneurship for the next generation across Africa, not just one individual country, what would that be?
Um, I've mentioned it before, but I'm really heavy on roads, because for me that's one single thing that would impact energy access, that will impact opportunities, that will improve trades, that will improve language, that will kind of take away the language barriers. It's roads and being able to move from one place to another, communicate with other culture, kind of interact with what other people are doing, and being able to see it sometime for yourself, kind of change the way you look at it. I mean, I come from a family. My mom, she managed to go to school because she was selling nuts, And from the nut, she was able to meet a priest, a Catholic priest, who then, because my mom come from a family of farmers, and farmers that they didn't go to school. So my grandmother, she didn't even understand when my mom was saying I want to go to school. She didn't relate to it. She didn't understand it. But because my mom, when she was selling nuts, she used to go around asking, and once she ended up seeing it. Wait, there are other people that are going to school. Actually, I want to go where they are going. So she managed to tell the mom. The priest told my mom, you need to go and bring a parent. And the mother was not understanding a thing of what she's saying, but she managed to bring the mom at the church, I mean at the parish. And she told the priest, my mom is here. And she said yes. And she told the mom, just say yes. Just say yes. And that's how she went to school. And she and from there she keep on pushing. She ended up going up to university. She had a bachelor. She got married. She popped out seven kids. And she managed to have a career at the central bank in DRC. She had like 38 years of service at the central bank. It's literally because she was exposed to another narrative that was different from what she used to see. And when she was sending us abroad, because we are seven in my family, but all of us, we study abroad. And my mom was very knee on it. She was like, you don't know what you don't know. And until you know, you won't be able to decide, is this what I want for my life? Is this what I envision? And if I give you the opportunity, you will then be able to do the same for your kid, and you will keep this chain moving, and you'll be able to improve not only your life but the community and everywhere you go. So she was very neon. You must be exposed to a lot of, as much as possible, and as many things as possible, so that you not, you kind of not kind of carré, comme on dit en français. Tu n'es pas, you're not boxed in and just looking at one way or one perspective and say that's it. It's this way or the highway. It's something that's really I'm big on. If we can improve the road, we'll open up borders, and people will do the rest of it themselves. They will create opportunity. They will collaborate. They will make money. They will share the money. They will share the wealth, and everyone will actually be impacted. And there will be no need for. It's good when you have projects that come to the DRC and look at uh, empowering women with funds, but if the opportunities are there, and the roads are open, if the opportunities are there and the roads are open, people, they will know where to go and sell their product. They will know how to save the money. They will, if, for example, we look at Kenya and what they've been able to do. It's only when you get to Kenya that you understand that you can live without cash in Africa, which is a foreign. When you look at how we when you come to Africa, they will tell you you must carry cash. You must carry cash because the ATM will show you flames over there. But when you arrive, when you get to Kenya, you don't feel like ATM will show you flames, because hell, you don't even need cash as a way of transaction. But yeah, but people don't know that. People don't know. I mean, if I'm sure if you still talk to some of the people in South Africa, they'll tell you, no, no, I need to carry cash. Or some people maybe from Egypt or maybe Nigeria, they'll tell you I need to carry cash. But if they were actually able to come here because it's cheap, it's affordable, and it's easy, then they will see, you can actually live this way, and maybe buy into some of this culture, take it home, improve things in their home, and then and share that mix of sharing and learning from others and being exposed to different things. I think that the bigger thing that they can offer this generation and those generations to come.
Yeah, I can definitely the cash thing is something that I totally understand, because every time I go back home, when I go back home to Zimbabwe, I'm told, make sure you have cash, and you must always have those US dollar cash, So I agree with that. And what I found powerful in your story there was how roads, just actually having infrastructure, actually having a literal physical road, can lead to roads opening up in our minds, right? Just that ability to move from one place to another and be exposed can create an impactful mindset. It can create that mindset shift that is so needed, and that takes us right back. I want to close the loop, Wani. I want to close the loop on Kivu Spice. And I know that this has a lot of emotions for you. So please just share what you are comfortable with. Part two, part two of Kivu Spice. I understand that when the conflict restarted, things kind of took a turn for the worse. So just share what you're comfortable with and tell us what happened with Kivu Spice and where it is now.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. that subject that is difficult, but I'll try. Kivu Spice started 2020. Around 2022, we had the product we're now selling. We managed to approach supermarkets locally in Bukavu, Goma, south part, and then we went to the capital, and we started having orders coming in, and our distribution when it comes to other provinces, especially the capital, heavily relied on flights. As surprising as that would be, but we're mainly using cargo from CAA, which was a local carrier, but also Save Air, which is an outsider company that has infrastructure in DRC. They are operating on the line of Goma Kinshasa. So we were mainly collaborating with them to ship our product from the east and taking them to Kinshasa, because that's where the demands were. It was massive, and it was recurrent. It was stable. We knew that at least every month we will be able to cover our charges, start breaking even, and even projecting in terms of profits. One of the things that didn't really encourage us to put the processing unit in Kinshasa at cost. Kinshasa is a very expensive capital. So for us, it really made sense also because, we're talking about spices. After 4 days, if it's not properly stored, then it starts to spoil, and then it just doesn't make sense. So the whole processing unit and everything in terms of Kivu Spice were located in Bukavu, South Kivu, and then we'll be shipping to different locations depending on the orders that were coming in. And toward 2023, we started taking off in terms of orders. We're now starting to ship around 1,000 a month, and slowly in 2020, toward the end of 2020. We improved our packaging because we had an opportunity to go to China at the expo, and we made contacts with manufacturing of packaging, especially the type of packaging that we wanted, because we wanted to improve the weight but also the look of the product itself. We were at the beginning we were shipping in jars, glass ones, but then we moved to an aluminium type of packaging that was easier to carry, that was less subject to spoil it, that was less subject to breakage and everything. So we were able to ship more at a lesser cost. So it was really looking good for us. We started shipping around 3,000 to Kinshasa pack of chili every week, and we were supplying locally here and there in restaurants, in hotels and everything. And because the way we set up Kivu Spice, because me from a background, I'm not an agronomist, I'm an industrial engineer. The way we set up Kivu Spice was that after 3 years, we were going to start leaving the farm and let the women handle the farming side. In a sense of when we started, we were treating the women how we were cheating them. We're teaching them how to work with us when it comes to the nursery, how you do the transfer and everything. But we were in the same time giving them seeds so they go and try. Why we wanted them to learn? Because our projection were that all of them, if they were able to have small plots at their place where they can just farm chili, garlic, and everything, will be buying from all of them. So they will become our reliable, they will become our reliable supply, and we will just stay at the processing unit, so that we get out of the farming, and they can take over, and then we'll be processing and then distributing. uh so that was the plan. So towards after 3 years, we started feeling like, okay, we have a number of women that have been buying into the project, the cooperative that have been collaborating with us. We had this whole plan of, and because we were also selling more, everyone was feeling like, yeah, this is taking off. And it's here to stay, because they were also a bit skeptic that a locally made brand will be able to survive more than a year. But we were fighting, and we were fighting our way through. We were also bringing in some external capital that was helping into deploying some of our operations, and we were able to show confidence that we are growing our market, and our profits is following and everything. But then the conflict started. It started outside the town of Bukavu and Goma, but quickly it started impacting our operation, because, like I said earlier, the farms were outside Bukavu, and transport, or I would say going there, was sometime a journey. And when the conflict started, what the rebels they did, they started cutting off, making the roads worse than they were already. And because our farmers could not freely bring the harvest to us easily, it started spoiling on their side, and we started missing products. Okay. And then, because we're missing products, we are not hitting up the target in terms of when somebody places an order. And when we sign with most of these supermarkets, and when we actually managed to secure a contract in Kinshasa, the first thing they told us, we don't want an unreliable distributor. If you happen to miss a delivery once or twice, third time you are gone. See? So it's we knew it was, we started prioritizing on who we are sending product to. And at some points, toward the beginning of January 2025, it's we just couldn't, we were barely making it. Like, we were barely able to send like 5 box of 300 packages in it. And they told us, we this is not what we agreed upon. You know what the contract said. And I think we're going to stop. That made things worse, because shortly after that, Bukavu and Goma, we went under occupation fully. The rebel established themselves fully in those two towns, and we found ourselves completely cut off. The farmers were not able to supply anymore. We were not able to deliver anymore. So we started literally collapsing. And the farmers, some of them will manage to find an Android, and they will send me pictures of chili in their farm, and they're asking me, what do I do now? Are you not going to buy? And it's I mean, when I look at, I relocated 2020. When I look at 5 years of fighting to establish a structure, to build something that I was hoping will stand on its own, to be able to scale it properly, because for me, what we're doing can be looked at as scaling, but for me, really, scaling up was being able to have the whole structure stand on its own without me being part of it, in a sense of we can from the farm to the table of the final consumer, the process does not even involve me, but also it can grow on its own. We and 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 that didn't happen because quickly after that we really started collapsing. Some of the savings I had, I started pumping into helping the farmers, because they would send you this, after working with people for a year or two, three, five, seeing them every 2 to 3 weeks, when you go to the farms and talk to them about their challenging, they started you started looking at them as an extended family almost. So when they send you photos of, look, I, you told us that you're going to buy, we invest in this, we improve. I started sending my own money towards helping them find other ways of maybe restarting different type of farming so that they can support themselves. And step by step, the Epis de Kivu started collapsing. Yeah, and today we're not we still under occupation, um from from late December 2024. That's where things really started going bad. Up until now, we're still under occupation. Things have completely collapsed, and we have not been able to see the end of it. We're still facing a lot of pressure, but in terms of, because the rebels have also established their own administration, and I was a registered business that was paying tax and everything. Now they're trying to collect on a on a business that is not functioning anymore, and I will have to probably file for bankruptcy so that they don't keep on blowing up my phone, because I'm not producing anything, because there is no chili that I'm getting to be able to transform or process it. So therefore, I cannot pay tax. So when you guys are coming to my office and say it's been 9 months, yes, because I have not been in business. It's yeah, it's it's a difficult story. I don't know. We'll see next year.
Thank you
We'll
for
see
sharing.
next year.
Thank you for sharing that. I know that it was a difficult story to share. Uh, so, really well done on the resilience that you have shown and on what you managed to achieve while you could, when things were under your control, right? At some point, and I guess that's the reality of choosing entrepreneurship as a career. At some point, there are things that are beyond your control, and how you respond to that is then, a second chapter or something else that you can do, which leads me to my next question. What did you find helped you navigate? What have you found is helping you navigate this transition? Because you have moved across mining, you've moved across agritech. You mentioned that you're an engineer, you're not in agro, digital innovation, development, strategic planning. You've done a lot, and this is a transition now. What has guided all these transitions? And also, how do you know when it's time to evolve?
Uh, that's a good question. For me, first, how do I? I'll start by the last one. How do I know when it's time to move? I wouldn't say it is a specific moment, but most of the time, I'm a praying person. I'm a Catholic, and not because my mom was a Catholic, but learning about the faith, I actually came to embrace the Catholic way. And I put God in a lot of things that I do, and I make sure that I do my part. For me, the work may look difficult. It may appear to be a lot, but if from when I tell myself I'm going to invest myself in this, and whatever difficulty comes after that, I try to stomach or bear it, because it comes from a place whereby I said, okay, I'm going to give this my all. So it's a bit of conviction, and also a bit of determination, in a sense of, um you look at an opportunity and you say, okay, when I started Kivu Spice, for example, I said, I I I I would like to see on a table more made in DRC products from made in DRC with Congolese people for Congolese. So from that narrative, whether it's raining, whether it's the priest, whether it's the husband, whether I looked all of those as just part of the journey to make that happen. So I did not dwell a lot on the things that happen within the process, but on following the line. And when things start collapsing, it may be very difficult, but in the same time I don't personalize it because I know I did my best to make this thing stand. I did everything I humanly could within the space I was operating in. I did what I could, and if it is collapsing, then there is something else that God is putting there or is preparing me to shift into. And most of the time it usually happened that way. When I started transitioning into advocating for a better ecosystem, it kind of came naturally. When my business was collapsing, I was having a lot of opportunity to go and talk in forums about women entrepreneurship, what is not working, where should we be looking at to improve things, and what are the technology that I believe can help, and within the experience that I have, how can things be implemented locally so that they have impact on a national level or on a continental level. So literally that's how things have been evolving for me, but it always starts with I do my best, and then from the best that I'm doing and I'm giving everything that I can, then other opportunities started showing up to kind of lead or make the way clear on this is where you should transition. And literally that's how I found myself in Impact Kivu, and advocating and pushing for a better ecosystem. And that's why I talk a lot about improving infrastructure, and that's why I am like, even though the youth is the future and we have a lot of we have a competitive advantage when it comes to the youth in Africa, that segment of the population still need to be trained, still need to be empowered to be able to kind of hold or grasp those opportunities. So that the work that we've been doing with Kivu Impact, because I feel like from the background that I came from and from the structure as it is currently, there is a need to be empowering the youth to look at opportunities outside their physical location. And we have a lot of them. And one thing that today, compared to maybe 10 years, 15 and 20 years back, we didn't have this much access to, internet. Because today, when I look at the work that we're doing with Kivu, Kivu Impact, uh, if we had to use the same resources, maybe 5 years back, 10 years back, if we didn't have Starlink, for example, that would be very difficult. Starlink today is affordable, is reliable, and it takes a lot of students at once, you see, and we are able to kind of plug as many students as we possibly can that are willing to learn, to give them a space to learn, to give them opportunities. Even we have youth today that are like graphic design for small companies in Kinshasa, even if we are under occupation in the East, which is something that they literally, when they came out of university, and most of them have bachelors, but bachelors that are mainly kind of theory based without much practice in it. So when they actually can see that we can reinvent ourselves, and we can plug into this new opportunity, we can do digital marketing, we can do AI, we can learn to be an online assistant to somebody in Burundi. It's kind of tell them that this is not a hopeless world. This is not a world without us. We are actually still part of it, even though we are still under occupation, and it helps lift up the morale, because at the end of the day we as good as our imagination, or how our mental health. So if you're not able to see yourself getting better, or seeing yourself, in a different type of setting, the possibility or the capability that you'll be able to like change your narrative, that would be very, very difficult. So that literally were how I look at it.
Mm. I like the work you are doing with Kivu Impact Center. So, is that where your main focus is right now, including all the keynote speaking that you're doing?
Um, yes, yes. Well, Kivu Spice will still be there. But we are looking at restructuring it next year because of everything that have been happening. But also, I think that the work that I'm doing with Kivu Impact is also important because I'm one of those entrepreneurs that will go back to that ecosystem. So because I have an opportunity today to kind of put my voice out and speak about it and try to change the narrative and make the leadership or people in power understand that this is really how people need the youth and entrepreneurs need to be helped. I think that helps a lot, not only me, but also the generation that comes after me, but also being able to give them the opportunities that have been given to me. Because if I did not study abroad, I wouldn't have this open mindedness that I have. Today, I may be out of work for 2 months, but I'm not worried, which is something that when I sometimes talk to my friend back home, they can't, they would rather stay in a low paying a job. Sometimes they would rather stay in a job that is literally not paying and promising to pay, because they feel like, ah, if I go to this country, I don't know anyone. Uh, I, I wouldn't know who can help. I wouldn't know what to do in that country. Plus, I don't speak the language. But, I know that, okay, I can go to South Africa. I've been to China. I don't speak anything close to Mandarin but I've been able to kind of visit, to go to the expo, and I was not, somebody did not take me there. No, I went to Kinshasa. I asked for a visa. I got it. I went and I visited and I talked to them, and our supplier of packaging, he does not speak English, and the only way of communicating was on the phone. Actually, he will talk or he will write, and then I will also write on my, on his WeChat. He will translate his side, I will translate my side, and we'll be able to talk. And do to this day, that's how I literally place my orders in when in China. But you you don't have that open-mindedness if you've not been exposed to stuff outside your normal everyday life. And I think that what my the biggest gift that I received from my mother was being able to be exposed to so many things that you literally understand that there is nothing that I cannot do. Not in a sense like you are careless, but you can try and you know uh, change your context. You're not limited by where you were born. You can literally be anything you want.
Hmm. I loved your mother's story, by the way. She sounds like she was an amazing woman.
Yeah,
And,
she was great.
yeah, and when you speak about, how she gave you that gift, I'm reminded that women leading women, women raising women is such a powerful movement that we really should lean on a lot more. Yeah. You were selected for Academy for Women Entrepreneurs, Harvard University.
Yes.
Congratulations for that in 2024. Yeah.
Thank you.
And you
Thank
went to
you.
refine your entrepreneurial skills.
Yes.
Now, just to say, we've been talking a bit about mentorship, about how, the continents that went ahead of Africa, maybe there should be some mentorship with like African entrepreneurs. And that is one thing that I thought kind of resembled something like that. Did you find it helpful?
Yes, definitely. I mean, look at me. I mean, I know I've been exposed to a lot, but finding myself at Harvard University, I was like, my God, my God. you know, I just wish my mom could have seen me. I'm like, my mom was a huge fan of watching TV. So she used to, most of us, when you look at most of the members of my family, when you look at the career that we are into, it's not traditional one. I have a sister that is into programming, one that is into banking. Me, I'm an engineer. We have an agronomist, a doctor. So she was not really traditional, and she used to be like, she used to watch TV a lot and be like, I want you to go this way. And I would like you to be like this character in this movie. And that would kind of, you know, I don't know, pump up a lot, be like, yeah, I'll make mom proud when I'll be this and that. And being able to find myself in Harvard, I understand what she was saying when she said, you don't know what you don't know. You hear Harvard, Harvard a lot, and you're like, yeah, yeah. But then when you find yourself at Harvard and you look at the history around the building, um, you just look at the building itself, and you ask yourself, how did a girl from southeast Kivu in the middle of nowhere managed to find herself at Harvard? And we had professors, we had a bunch of people coming to see us, and like, we are here for you guys. Ask anything. People from business school, theology, all of them, they just, free up time and say, ask what you need. And most of them were like, women, and they will tell us about their career, their challenges as mothers, their challenges as entrepreneurs. And you kind of feel like, you can relate to them. And it's the same problems everywhere, but maybe a different scale. Mine are still maybe small, where I still need like uh, to hire 2 or 3 person. They are trying to manage 1,000 to 2,000 person, and you really understand the power of representation. When you see women in position of leadership, you start understanding that, hey, this can also happen to us, to people like us. And I think it's a beautiful narrative that and that's why I got involved, even after my time after our visit at Harvard. I still got involved with the Academy of Women Entrepreneur, because I wanted that narrative to continue. Today, I we kept in touch with some of them, but the most important part was being able to just really see representation, find yourself in places you didn't think you'll be able to make it, or even envision remotely that you can find yourself in such places. And literally started, sometimes they tell you, um, you can be anything. And you're like, yeah, right. And then and then when you get to places like that, when they tell you can literally be anything, you're like, yeah, I feel that too. I think so. I can be anything, literally. And it was amazing. It was great. And I wish more women will be part of that program as we move forward.
Amazing. Congratulations. And yeah, it sounds like it was a really inspiring moment at Harvard. Wani, I have taken a lot of your time today, but your story was like so inspiring, so compelling, just so much that you could share with us. And we spent a lot of time talking about Kivu Spices and not as much on the Impact Center. I want to give you just one thing that you want us to know about Kivu Impact Center. Just that last minute or so. Anything that you think we should know about Kivu Impact Center.
Yeah, so what I would like you to know and remember about Kivu Impact Center is that we are empowering the youth and women with digital skills, AI literacy, and we're also providing an education funds to young learners starting from 6 years old up until 18 years old. So we do that by way of providing fully funded trainings. We do that by providing mentorship. We do that by providing coaching, but also by just supporting our program. What we're trying to do with Kivu Impact Center is, first, empower the youth and the women, but also uh, advocate for a better ecosystem, not only for the entrepreneur, but also for the job seeking youth that will be more interested in uh, building a company, or participating in a different narrative other than just starting their own business or materializing an idea. The idea here is to have as many of them being trained to the I would say the skills that are needed, that are sought after in this current economy, in this current ecosystem, so that they are able to not only reinvent themselves, but they are also able to kind of uh, bring to life what they have as idea, but literally just improve their prospect in terms of getting hired, whether it's on the local government or on the national level, or even having access to better opportunities at universities outside, or established organization outside. So we are really keen on providing training. We are keen on providing mentorship. We are also keen on providing coaching to the youth and the women, because when you also look at the demographic and how it has been impacting particularly the youth and the women in this current age, you understand that if we can just uh, provide a platform, then they will be able to kind of better their life on their own. But they first need to get the training, but also the information and the knowledge that will empower them to be able to do that. So really, Kivu Impact Center is about tech, particularly because I feel like, and we felt, not only me, we felt like tech is a powerful lever currently, because it does not only improve prospect in terms of funding opportunity, but it's also it also improve the learner ability to access opportunity quickly in a continent where infrastructures are not yet fully deployed to an extent whereby it will be easier for everyone to transact, to travel, to communicate, to uh, exchange idea. Tech allow them to travel. Tech allow them to uh, kind of access a job market that is not physical. And because they're able to access that market, then they're able to reinvent themselves. They're able to write their own story as they see fit, not as we think they it should be done, or it should be told. But with tech, you literally can have access to uh, a vast amount of data, a vast amount of knowledge. You'll be able to select uh, what you want to really specialize in, and you can even, you know, learn a thing or two about uh, other people culture, and uh, and how it is impacting the life that you want to live. So that literally, I know when it comes to Kivu Impact, also I tend to be like Kivu Spice, but in a nutshell, it's all about empowering the youth, which is the gold mine currently in Africa. But it's only going to be the gold mine if it's empowered, if it have proper knowledge, proper training to be able to take advantage of opportunities.
Yeah, the passion really shines through. And I think it goes back to how, as an entrepreneur, what really drives you, what keeps you going is the passion that you have for what you do, right? And where can people connect with you and plug into the work you are doing now? Just to give that as a final thing before we do our last fire round, quick fun questions.
Well, the quickest way will be LinkedIn. To just drop me a message on LinkedIn. And the other way you can contact me on through our website, Kivu Impact, kivuimpacthub.com. And my name on LinkedIn is Wani Joana, And from my page, you'll be able to find all the information about Kivu Impact. And from there, you can either drop me a message on LinkedIn, or you can drop me a message through our contact info on the page of Kivu Impact. And from there, we'll be able to connect. The other pages that I have, one related to Kivu Spice, is no longer available. So that will be the quickest and most effective way to get in touch with me, should you be interested in assisting us with the work we're doing currently with Kivu Impact.
Okay, perfect. Fire round, quick, fun
Okay.
2-minute questions that, we've spoken a lot of hard truths, hard realities, and let's just unwind with something fun, right?
Okay.
So, first one, if your entrepreneurship journey was a song, what song would it be and why?
Okay, so I will surprise you, but I don't think it will be a song. I've heard a lot of songs all through this entrepreneur journey, but I will tell you something that have been constant in that whole thing. That will be Psalm 23. That literally my go-to. For me, it's, and way before that, Psalm 23 from the Bible. It's my forever psalm. I think even when I when I leave this earth, I'll probably ask them just write Psalm 23 on it. It literally, I feel like it encompasses everything about me, about my life, about my journey, and it says everything without needing to be long and
That is powerful, and that's a pleasant surprise. Next one. One book, concept, or idea every young African entrepreneur should master.
one book every for me, I would say, for me, that book will be the Bible. I found it in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of work life lesson, like work balance, social interactions, and legacy. The Bible will have it all, and you will find each story that is fitting to each and every situation. So I'm not saying everyone should read the Bible. I'm only saying that for me, the books that's kind of is, it teaches you everything, and in the same time you kind of resonate with every time you read it. It's the Bible. It's it's literally have everything in it, and I'm still trying to learn everything when it comes to it, and it's
Provides the
interesting.
grounding.
Yeah, true.
Last one. Last fun question. If you had a billboard on the busiest road in the DRC for one day, what message would it say?
The message will probably, ce sera probablement tiens fort. En anglais, je dirais hang in there, in a sense of this too shall pass. Like literally in this life, this too shall pass. The bad, the good, the terrible, the no thank you, the wow, everything shall pass. But you still there. If you're still there, then you're doing good. You hang in there. Yeah.
Oh, that is great. I love that. I love that, Wani. What is left is for me to say thank you. I'm really, really grateful for you sharing your story on HUMHR Career Insights. And yeah, all the very best with the Kivu Impact Center and with Epis du Kivu. Did I say it right?
Absolutely. A piece de Kivu.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of HUMHR Career Insights. I hope today's conversation gave you clarity, courage, and practical tools to build a career and a life that you love. If this episode resonated with you, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on Apple or Spotify or YouTube if you're watching. It really helps more people discover the show and supports the work we are doing to empower professionals across the humanitarian and development sector. To stay connected, follow me on LinkedIn and visit humhr.org. That's HUMHR.org for coaching, CV writing, leadership development, and more career resources. I'm your host, Batje Chibafa. Until next time, stay inspired. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of HUMHR Career Insights. I hope today's conversation gave you clarity, courage, and practical tools to build a career and a life that you love. If this episode resonated with you, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on Apple or Spotify or YouTube if you are watching. It really helps more people discover the show and supports the work that we are doing to empower professionals across the globe. To stay connected, follow me on LinkedIn and visit humhr.org. That's HUMHR.org for coaching, CV writing, leadership development, and more career resources. I'm your host, Batje Chibafa. Until next time, stay inspired.